What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a chat about a new starter deck. You see, things are coming thick and fast in the One Piece TCG, and that's kind of what part of the reason I'm here. I'm here sharing all of the news with you, telling you everything you need to know, so you never need to worry about, hang on a second, has anything come around? What do I need to know? No! I got your back, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you need to know, I will be here sharing it with you. You see, we haven't actually had the release yet of Starter Deck 29. We haven't even had the reveal of Starter Deck 29. Now, we know Starter Deck 29 is going to be a yellow Luffy egghead deck. We know that because of distributor listings and all of that. So, like, I'm showing you a yellow Luffy on the screen just because, you know, got to show you something. Be weird to just have a blank screen. Here it is, a video at the end of the day now, isn't it? But we still don't have much information about that. Obviously, like, the minute that we have some information, as soon as something is shared about that, then I will very, very quickly come and bring you the news, show you all those new yellow cards, a new yellow Luffy leader, which we know is coming, all of that good stuff. It's going to be beautiful. Can't show you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have it. And the funny thing is, Starter Deck 28 for us actually came around ages ago at this point. Because, of course, Starter Deck 28 was the Yamato starter deck, which was one of the kind of set of 6. And then a lot later than that, we got Starter Deck 22, which only came out at the beginning of last month. And, yeah, we got them the wrong way round because of various things, because they gave us the other 6 early and all of that. But the point is, we've had these kind of the wrong way round. So we have got Starter Deck 28 ages ago. Starter Deck 29, we've had a tease for, we don't know much about. Starter Deck 22 was actually the last one we got, but we got that after 23 to 28. And now we've got our first news about Starter Deck 30. Which, honestly, if you've been following the game like I have, it is wild that we've gotten to Starter Deck 30. Like, I remember when One Piece was new and I was showing you about the first 4 starter decks. And it was awesome. And it was weird because back then I hadn't read One Piece. I had no idea who Kid, Kaido, and Crocodile were. And if you go back to my very early videos, I was pronouncing it Luffy because it's spelt Luffy, all right? But I didn't know. I've now read the whole of One Piece, and I'm actually almost 700 issues into my second read-through. Don't worry, I'm now very knowledgeable on One Piece. But the idea that we've already gotten to 30 starter decks is just bizarre to me, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely bizarre. But that aside, what have we got? Well, you know what? We got a decent amount of information. Now, the title is To Be Announced. Sorry about that. But we do actually have a nice little description, and we have a release date of the 19th of June, which I suppose out of context might not actually mean very much, but Starter Deck 29 is due on the 16th of January, and that's the last starter deck. And then the last set before this is OP15, which is due on the 3rd of April. So this is actually going to be the first One Piece release in 2.5 months at that point. OP15, which has the second half of EBO4, that is coming out on the 3rd of April. This isn't coming out till the 19th of June. By the time this drops, we are going to be starved for One Piece information. We are going to be buzzing to start learning some stuff. So what do we know? A starter deck using Paramount War characters for a theme. Leaded, that's definitely not the word they mean there, by the new leader Ace and Luffy. Characters who were featured in Paramount War are included with brand new effects. It's a gorgeous deck with all cards in a shining foil finish. So it's one of those all foil decks. Lovely. A red and green mid-range deck featuring additional excitement. This is a mid-range deck which can elevate the power of your own characters on the opponent's turn, thanks to its leader's effect. Also, it contains a bonus pack containing 3 cards with special finish, 17 kinds to collect. An incredibly strong deck jumped right into the battle. This product is a very strong deck by itself, allowing beginners to jump right into the scene easily. Furthermore, by combining the cards from other boosters, you can enhance your strategy and reach the summit of the game environment. Breaking news, booster pack cards added to starter decks make starter decks better. Tell your friends, they need to know. So, okay, cool. This actually tells us a lot coming in here, and there is a lot to dig into, so let's start digging into it. First things first, we have a red-green Luffy and Law dual leader card. It's right there in the first two paragraphs. We are told that it is Luffy and Ace, and then in the second paragraph we're told a red-green mid-range deck, so there we go. We know it's Luffy and Ace as a dual card, and we know it is a red-green mid-range deck. Now this I find incredibly interesting because we've only had two dual leader cards so far, and they've both been in starter decks for what it's worth. We got our first one in starter deck 12 where we got a Zoro and Sanji leader deck, and then we got our second one much more recently in starter deck 22 where we got Ace and Newgate. For anyone paying attention, that actually means that we get two dual leader cards featuring Ace and only one dual leader card that doesn't feature Ace, which I find kind of interesting. Now, in terms of it being a Paramount War set, back to OPO2. Remember, OPO2 was literally called Paramount War. That was the name of the set, and it was very much themed after Paramount War. Now, if you've not read or watched Paramount War in the manga/anime, honestly, you've got till June, mate, alright? You got plenty of time. It's only October now. Might I suggest you do so, if for no other reason than it's phenomenal and I love it. But it's also worth pointing out that this is a pretty big deal, One Piece wise. Newgate, obviously, very big deal in the Paramount War. Luffy, Ace. But also, at the end of Paramount War, Shanks pops up. We've got the whole, that card from OP09, the event card, oh, come on, we'll fight you. Yeah, that's him coming in and being like, hey, yeah, we'll deal with this. You guys go away. We got this. So we could have some red hair pirates coming in. That would be kind of cool. Obviously, you see Sakazuki on the booster pack there, because obviously the Navy's kind of a big deal. So Straw Hat, Navy, Whitebeard pirates, red-haired pirates. I'm not saying these are the only things we see in Paramount War, but I'm saying these are among the front-facing things you should be expecting. And frankly, if you've read or watched One Piece, you should see Paramount War starter deck. That should make you pretty hyped, frankly. Absolutely should. And we're also kind of told what the leader does. We know it boosts the power of your own characters on the opponent's turn. That's what it does. So kind of like anti-OP09 Shanks. Instead of lowering your opponent's power, you are buffing your power on your opponent's turn. It could be a blanket for all of your characters. It could be a one-time thing like Shanks. We don't know, but it's that kind of effect coming in. But then, because we know it's Ace and Luffy, we can assume the traits are going to be Straw Hat Pirates and Whitebeard Pirates. And of course, they both get a leader card in OP13. And that's kind of interesting, because if we look at the Luffy from that set, it's red-green Luffy. We literally just got a red-green Luffy. So basically anything in this starter deck is going to potentially boost up that Luffy. Now Ace, incidentally, is red-blue, so any new red cards will help, but green absolutely will not. And obviously the dual Ace and Newgate deck, well, that's all blue. There's a lot of really, really good blue Whitebeard pirates, which you're just not going to be able to use in this deck, which is very, very sad. But any of those cards from Starter Deck 22, whether it's things like Kazuki Oden or the big Newgate or whatever it might be, they're not going to work with this leader because it's red-green. That's a little bit sad. Similarly, there are a bunch of purple Straw Hat cards, which are absolutely immense. Think back to EBO2 and look at things like Sanji and Puddin, for instance. Or think about the Secret Rare Luffy from EBO2. They are not going to be available because they're purple. But then by the same token, in EBO2, we got, say, the Green Nami Searcher. So there's plenty of good green Straw Hat cards which are going to be available in here. And there's a lot of good red Whitebeard cards. Go back to like OPO2. Now, admittedly, we are heading to rotation, which is a little bit of a pain. So you're going to lose them to rotation anyway. But, you know, things like Jozu and Newgate, for instance, are going to be available if you ignore the whole rotation thing, which you probably shouldn't, honestly. But the good news is there are some more recent ones like the Thatch from Starter Deck 15, for instance. Very nice card. That is one we're going to absolutely want to pop in there. And obviously anything else from that starter deck because it's Regulation Mark 3. So you're going to be absolutely fine in that regard. Obviously we are at the point now where we're looking so far ahead. We do need to start thinking about rotation. So look, there are a bunch of very cool things coming, and that's lovely. We don't know exactly what the leader does, but we have had a little bit of a hint. And we can see, you know, there's a lot of green and red Straw Hats around, red Whitebeard Pirates, and, you know, everything that can work with Luffy in OP13 is going to work. It's a little bit sad we're losing blue Whitebeard Pirates, if I'm honest with you. But then go back to the first Ace leader in OPO3, that was red, so we are very much kind of following suit here. But the point is, there is enough to think. You add the new cards in, and maybe we take new cards in OP13, Luffy gets really good. Or something else gets a massive boost. Or maybe this new one can take all the best bits of like red Whitebeard Pirates and green Straw Hats and go from there. I don't know. Either way, I've told you what we know, and I've given you all of this. Oh, and by the way, there's 17 kinds of cards to collect, so that bonus pack tells us there's going to be 17 different kinds of cards. There we go. You know. You're welcome. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Tell me your hopes, your dreams, your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, and anything else. Go nuts. But be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.